Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC, and today I will be reviewing the first ever 32m FASE binding. If you're looking to pick up the 32 FASE binding or any of the bindings I mentioned in this video, make sure you click those affiliate links down below so that way you don't have to go searching for them yourself. I rode these bindings at Copper Mountain where it started off as a sunny day and then turned to super flat light and then got sunny again and then flat again and then sunny and then flat, and I pretty much just did that all day. But we did get some snow the night before. We had a few inches that just pretty much covered the runs, covered the groomers, made them smooth. And it was really good snow actually. That hero snow that you could really lay an edge into and not have to worry about hitting any ice or anything like that underneath it. So that was pretty good. The runs stayed really nice where it was a lot of inept skiers really, where they had no idea what they were doing, and we got pretty much the whole thing to ourselves. There weren't any giant push piles or anything like that. But I used my Ride Fuse boots and my Jones Stratos board. When it comes to binding adjustability, if you watched my Jones FASE Mercury binding, it's pretty much the same thing. If you didn't, keep watching and we'll just get right through this. So when it comes to the straps, you're gonna have a toolless adjustment. And when I mean toolless, it is 100% toolless. There is no Phillips head there. So make sure you open this all the way. If you don't, it's gonna be a real pain in the ass to get this thing untwisted. So just make sure it is. But apart from that, super easy to move both the toe and the ankle. When you get to the Highback, you do have a little bit different of a adjustment there. So you do flip it, and this one you actually spin. So unlike pretty much every other one out there that is a flip tab, you're gonna end up spinning this. Make sure you spin it back, lock it into place. You'll be all good to go there. And you can do it on the fly. It doesn't have to be done before, so just keep that in mind. When you do need to center this binding, you will use the actual mini disc here, or the actual disc here, sorry, not mini. Nothing mini about this thing. But this is how you'll center it. Just put it on, slide it toe, heel, that sort of thing. You also do have an adjustable toe ramp. So you do have two settings on here. There's two little holes. So you'll just line it up. If you need a little bit more toe, just slide it forward. Don't need any more, just have it back, screw it in. You're all good to go there. It is nice and basic. Since it is a fixed heel cup, you don't have to worry about adjusting that. And you're not gonna be rotating these high backs at all. It's not possible. These straps are very familiar to me. First off, the ankle strap feels identical to the Mercury strap that's on their regular Mercury or Jones Mercury binding, where it has that exoskeleton to give it a little bit of rigidity, but then it's got a little bit softer of a molded strap underneath. So you're not gonna get any padding from it. All that padding's coming from your boot. And honestly, I did feel that where, since it is a little softer underneath, when I really ratchet this thing down, get those last clicks in, I did notice that there was a pressure point, and it was right where this exo spine is to really stiffen it up. That's where I got them. It wasn't like a crazy pressure point. Like it started about halfway down the mountain, and then once I popped it a little bit looser, especially on that front foot, it got better. I didn't have any problems there. But overall, pretty comfy strap on the top here, where as long as you don't just go to really cut circulation off to your foot, you'll have no problem. The first few laps I rode it, it didn't have that issue because I just wasn't going super tight. But as I warmed up, really wanted to really put this thing through the ringer, I did have that little that pressure sensation there. As we move on down to the toe strap, it's the same toe strap that's on the Jones FASE Mercury binding. So as I mentioned before, it doesn't grip my toe box extremely well, where that square toe box, there is a little bit of gap on the top or the bottom depending on how it sits when I slide my foot in, but it doesn't move at all. It is locked into place. It's not going anywhere. It just doesn't caress the whole boot like I would like it to, but it still keeps my boot down. I don't have any play like lifting wise if I'm going heel side or anything like that. Overall, pretty solid. I hope they do fix it in the future, but for the first year, it's not a bad toe strap. It's gonna fit on anything. And the nice part about it is it's not gonna be super stretchy, so when you do go to kick in, it doesn't try to stretch away from you or anything like that. It stays in place. There's really nothing to write home about on these ratchets. The toe ratchet is the same ratchet that will be on all of the FASE bindings, so pretty standard there, no play in it. Easy to really just lock it into place and leave it. I will say though, the locking mechanism isn't the greatest on it. If you do like kick it in or something, it will move sometimes, so just keep that in mind, where you might have to move it back when you do slide your foot in. But apart from that, there's really no play there. When you get up to the ankle ratchet, there's a bit more play, but overall it's really solid where you don't really feel that play when you're actually ratcheting in or going to get out. It also doesn't eat away at the ladders. Like, I was trying to really get this thing as tight as possible, and I have 0 wear marks on here from riding them all day. So just a solid ratchet, nothing crazy to it, but I mean, honestly, that's what you want from a ratchet anyway. While I have you here, you might as well like, subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications so you're not missing any of the scheduled programming we have coming out. So the main thing you'll know about this Highback is when it's just sitting open, it's way open. So the main reason for that is because you have this little stirrup in here that when you step in, it pops it forward, closes it, makes it so you're just fully locked in. The main part about this little guy in here, you can actually pop this down. So when you are going to get on the lift, you notice it's a low chair lift, or you just do it regardless, you can kick this thing down. Super easy to get back into place. Me and Avran do it all the time, where we just kind of step on the back, it opens, and then you can just slide your foot right in, 0 problems there. It's honestly idiot proof. Like, I've been trying to really wrench on these and I've had 0 problems with them. Haven't even had any discoloration or wear from that at all. But if you do end up breaking that, you can just pop these tabs off on the heel cup here and just replace it. Not a big deal. It's a pin and a couple of springs. Not rocket science there. Nice and easy. If you're scared of a screwdriver, take it into a shop. They can take care of it for you. But when we talk about flex on this Highback, it's not going to be the stiffest out there by any means. It's actually probably going to be the softest of the whole FASE family. But honestly, you see Scott Stevens ride it, Joe Sexton ride it. It makes sense. It wouldn't make sense for them to put a super stiff, responsive Highback on there. Now, that being said, when you're going heel toe, it feels nice and responsive. It's got a little bit of cushion up here, so you're not getting that pesky like calf bite or anything like that. And as I mentioned before, you do have a little forward lean adjuster, so flip that, spin it, flip it back, and you're all good to go there. I would say this binding is coming in at probably about the middle of the road, possibly a little bit softer when we're talking overall flex, just because it doesn't have the highest chassis here. So when you are going to like pretty much twist this thing laterally, you do feel that movement underneath. Also, with this ankle strap, it does allow some of that lateral play as well, mixed with the softer Highback. It does have a little bit of that lateral play there, where when you're still going toe to heel, you get that nice response, and it doesn't create like a dead spot underneath because you do have a bunch of foam padding on both the bottom and under your foot, so it does allow a little bit of roll. But overall, it's not going to be super stiff. If you're looking for that little bit of a softer option, it's not going to be like an ultra soft where you're touching your knee to the nose of the board when you're pressing or anything like that, but it is that nice little bit of play to it, but still that toe heel response. When we're talking ride on this thing, it's not the most damp binding out there, but you're not also gonna feel all those death cookies and chunder and that sort of thing. So when I was riding, just because it was a little bit softer of conditions, I kind of had to test it when we were going over those smaller push piles and that sort of thing. And I did feel the push piles underneath my feet, but it wasn't super jarring where it was jolting all of that pressure and just like violence up to my knees or my ankles or anything like that. It was pretty comfortable. And I mean, I'm pretty used to this chassis by now. I've been riding it for a couple months, so I know what it's gonna respond like and how it's gonna feel. And it honestly feels that way, where you have a little bit firmer foam underneath your pretty much 4 other toes as opposed to your big toe, where that one's gonna be a little bit softer, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference in my opinion, where I'm not feeling that quite as much, especially because you have all that foam underneath on the base and underneath your foot. It cuts down on those vibrations really well. Would I say I would like to probably have a little bit of urethane under here to really cut down on chatter and that sort of thing? Yeah, but you know, for the first iteration, this is great still. Like, especially if you're just popping in and just trying to like cruise around and go and find those little stashes everywhere, you're gonna be great with it. It's when you get into that super icy stuff that it hasn't snowed in weeks and it's all man-made snow, you're probably gonna feel a little bit more of that vibration coming through. Rider in mind. This binding is made for that person that's more freestyle oriented. I mean, even like that Midwest tow rope rider where they wanna hike the park a lot and just get those laps in and just be able to pop in and out, or if they just didn't make it quite back to that tow rope, they could just undo that ankle strap and once they get to the top, pull themselves off, pop in, hit that ankle strap, and they're good to go. They're all about just pretty much as many runs as they can get, but they still don't want to sacrifice performance for the amount of runs. If you're looking for another way to get involved in the Angry Snowboarder community, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. I could explain what it is, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. I really enjoyed this binding. I had a feeling it was gonna be softer because, I mean, if they made it the same exact stiffness as the Jones one, there would be no point for this, but 32 did a really good job, especially for coming out with their first ever binding. I think it's a great job. The chassis is solid. I've been riding this chassis for a while now, as I mentioned before, but I really like the ankle strap on it. Even though there was that pressure point, it wasn't super uncomfortable. It was more of a pressure like I knew it was there, but it wasn't a killer on my ankle or anything like that. And I mean, it's solid, especially for what it is. Like, it's just that fast entry binding. It's not a convenience binding. It's just a fast entry performance binding, and that's what it does. And I'm super stoked on it. And I mean, if you're looking for something a little bit more freestyle oriented, where you're really tweaking out grabs and buttering and pressing around, this would be a great one for you. Comparable bindings: the Jones Mercury FASE, the Rome Katana FASE, and the Bataleon Blaster FASE. As always, guys, I've been your host, TC, and this has been my review of the new 32 FASE binding. If this isn't the binding for you, or you just need more information on the rest of the FASE line, why don't you go check out one of the comparable binding videos, and I'm sure that'll answer all your questions.